Despite the northwest of England being sprinkled with more than just a dusting of snow overnight, it is game on for one of the biggest fixtures in the football calendar. Ground staff have been working hard to clear the pitch, and Anfield has been given the green light after 2 safety meetings to assess the conditions. So, after ending 2024 in style by thrashing West Ham 7 days ago, Arne Slot's side are now aiming to start 2025 with a bang and continue their hugely impressive season so far. Victory for the league leaders today would see them go 8 clear of Arsenal at the top, and with a game in hand. Liverpool's opponents come in the form of arch-rivals Manchester United. We're hoping the turn of the year can bring an upturn in their performances and results, after a miserable run that's seen them lose 6 of 11 games under new boss Ruben Amorim. It is a 4:30 kick-off here on Merseyside, and we'll bring you live audio commentary of all the action. Yeah, welcome along to Matchday Live. I'd say Happy New Year to Messrs Houghton and McAteer, and of course to all of you watching us around the world. Plenty of chat with the boys to come through the course of the show, but first, let's get straight into things and bring the details of Liverpool's starting lineup for this first game of 2025. Arne Slot makes just one change from the victory down at London Stadium, and it's an enforced change. Joe Gomez ruled out through injury, of course. Ibou Konaté returns to the starting lineup. So, it's Alisson, Becker in goal, then Virgil van Dijk. Ibou Konaté, as mentioned, it's been 39 days since his last performance. That came against Real Madrid. Luis Diaz is in from the off, as is Alexis McAllister. So too is Mohamed Salah. His next Premier League goal means 175 in total in the competition. That'll move him level with Thierry Henry in the record books. Curtis Jones, Cody Gakpo, Andy Robertson, Ryan Gravenberch and Trent Alexander-Arnold complete the starting 11. On the bench, it's Kelleher, Endo, Nunes, Chiesa, Elliott, Jota, Tsimikas, Kwanzaa, and Conor Bradley is back too. Happy New Year, gents. You're supposed to start the new year by being visited by someone tall, dark and handsome. I think both of you tick 2 of the 3 boxes. I'll let you decide which ones.
I've lost
good
my
to see
tan.
you.
My tan's gone. I've been home too long now.
Any New Year's resolutions?
Not for me personally, Jace.
I always break them.
Yeah.
I always go with the best ideas, like I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to start running. And by the 3rd of January, I just give up.
Fair enough, at least he's honest.
Yeah.
To today then, which is the really important thing. I just wonder how important it was that this game went ahead, because what we didn't need was another game to be thrown into what is going to be a very congested start to this year.
Yeah, well, look, we've got, I think it's 8 games in January that Liverpool have got to play. So they maybe could have done without one of them. I mean, they've already played 8 in December as well. So this period has been very, very tough. There's a number of games that you've got already played in upcoming fixtures as well. But the way Liverpool are playing at the moment, Man United don't want to play Liverpool. They were probably hoping the game was going to be called off, because having been at the game against West Ham last Sunday, for an away performance, that was as good as I've seen for a long time. Every department of Liverpool was excellent. The way we defended, the way we broke from midfield, players getting in advanced positions, creativity, passing, weight of pass was absolutely brilliant, creating opportunities, scoring goals. Could have easily been 10. I mean, that's how good Liverpool were on the day. So if they can play at that level again today, get after Manchester United early on in this game, you know, you could only see one winner, and that's Liverpool.
But football's a funny thing though, isn't it, Jace? You know, the narrative leading into this game is Liverpool was so good at West Ham, like so good and so dominant, and United was so bad against Newcastle, especially in the first half. Nobody can see anything but a Liverpool victory today, but the game doesn't work like that, and this rivalry doesn't work like that, and that's what we have to remember, what the players involved have to remember.
Listen, there's a 23-point disparity in the league positions and the points. But that does not to say that this is not still the biggest game in the world. It is, and it holds a massive occasion, and players respond to an occasion. You know, they do. It lifts them, and coming to Anfield lifts them. It's still Manchester United. It's still one of the biggest clubs in the world, and they'll be reminded of that in that dressing room, and they'll be reminded about this fixture and how much it means to the fans and how much it means to them. And they need a win. They need a win from somewhere. 4 defeats, no goal in the last 3. They need something. But I'm sure we'll touch on the dysfunction of Manchester United. But just touching on what Ray said, Liverpool at the minute, the professionalism about everything that they are doing is absolutely fantastic, and that's on and off the pitch as well. I mean, the contract negotiations, they're keeping them to one side, they're just focusing on the football. You know, the away performance, like Ray said, was absolutely top draw from away performance, and you're waiting for Liverpool to slip up, by the way, and it's just not coming. It's just not coming. And I think the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal dropping points, I mean, Ray's been there and won titles. It must spur you on when your rivals or the people close to you are dropping points. It must do.
Well, look, listen, the players will be really focused on what they have to do. And you're quite right, Mark, to bring up the point about Manchester United. They'll come into this game, everything's against them. No one really, probably their own fans don't believe that they can win today. But there are occasions in football where players come together. You know, Jason just mentioned the run of no win in the last 4, not scored in the last 3 league games. Everything's gone badly for them. But there is a match where you can change it around. There's no better place to do it than here. Yeah. Quite rightly pointed out once again as well, this is one of the biggest games in world football. It's the biggest game in English football. People might say about Man City and Arsenal, and of course, over the last few years that might be the case. But for generations, the biggest game has been Liverpool-Manchester United by a mile. And we must remember that. And this team today, Liverpool players and Man United players, I'm sure will go out there with the attitude of, we've got to get one over the opposition. We're going to make sure that we are ready, focused, professional in everything that we do to try and win this game. Man United players, you know, they'll be spurred on maybe by the criticism in many respects. They'll be thinking, you know what, I'm going to show everyone who's been out there criticising us, telling me I'm not a good player, I'm going to prove you wrong. Because that's my attitude would be in that changing room today. If I was a Man United player, I'm going to show every one of you who's doubted me, who turned around to me and said I'm not good enough, I'm going to prove to you. And that's what could happen today. I don't expect it because Liverpool are playing that well. So if Liverpool's attitude's right, go out there with the right mindset, there should only be one winner.
Just to touch on that, sorry Mark, just to touch on that, I think the manager of Liverpool slot's biggest challenge is complacency, because his team are just ticking over lovely, and you know, you can't look at this fixture and think they've lost the last 4, they haven't scored into it. You can't look at it like that. But what his greatest asset, I think, as a manager, is handling that complacency. There's not one time or one game I've looked at Liverpool, maybe Fulham in the first 10 minutes, they even started well against Fulham, but they went a goal behind. That's probably a little bit of a negative we might talk on later about the way they start games. But every game they've handled complacency, and they've been brilliant.
We're just showing the league table now, though. United are 14th, which for anyone of my generations, it kind of blows my mind still a little bit to see them floundering so much. Yeah. But we've just seen ourselves at the top, the chance to extend this lead again, still with a game in hand. We're at the point now, Jason, we can't ignore the fact that there is a title to be won potentially. There's an opportunity here. You know, early in the season, we can sort of still get early doors. Halfway stage after this game, there's an opportunity for these players.
Listen, as former players and Liverpool fans, we don't like talking like this because, well, you just don't do. You don't like talking about the obvious.
When you get into such a good position,
it gets to a point now where you've got to go, it's Liverpool's to lose. It's ours to lose now. And I just don't... Listen, we're all expecting them to fall into the trap of a couple of games, taking the foot off the gas, complacent. We're all thinking that might come, but it just might not. And while Chelsea and Arsenal, they're all fighting for the bits behind us, as long as we keep winning games. And I said it last week, you know, when them teams drop points and we play after them, it's so important that we take maximum points and put a bit more pressure on them. Bit more. Listen, if we win them 2 games in hand, we're 11 points clear. That's a mountain to climb. That's a mountain to climb for the teams behind us.
It is. I hate that terminology. It's Liverpool's to lose. Yeah, I mean, that's sometimes disrespecting the other teams behind them. We've seen in previous seasons certain sides that come win unbelievable second half to the season and can virtually win every game. So it's not just Liverpool.
But it's the two sides of it. You get to a point where it's, can you see Liverpool losing enough games and also see another team putting together enough run? That's where you start to be.
That's what I'm looking at.
Where we are at the moment, and that's all, we're in a very strong position because what they've done well in the 18 league games that they've played. There's still another 60 points to play for. That's what you look at. How many of them can you win? And you've got to keep your focus game after game. You can't get too far ahead of yourself because all you're doing is positioning yourself. Come back, getting yourself into the right area to win the league. But you don't win the league halfway through the season. You still got to do the right things in the coming weeks, coming matches that you've got. And if you keep your focus game by game by game, one game at a time, the old adage, take one game at a time, then we'll start to look when we've played 26 games, 27 games, where's the opposition and where are Liverpool? And then you can maybe start looking around. But after 18 games,
I think this is well, Ray.
You've got to be a little bit careful.
When we talk like this, listen, it's not a given. There's no guarantee. And Ray's right, you know, teams can come with a run and can put pressure on you and you can maybe drop away. But I just look at this Liverpool squad. I looked on a game the other week. There was 6 players. There was 6 players playing in the Liverpool team that had won the title. You look at the Arsenal team, they might have 1 or 2, Jesus, Zinchenko still there, but a lot of them have never won a title. You look at the Chelsea team, have any of them won a title? Maybe Cole Palmer with Manchester City probably wasn't involved a lot. So Liverpool, I mean, even when you were playing, you had the knack, you knew what to do, didn't you? So Liverpool had that in their advantage as well. I do think it's Liverpool's to lose.
I love it when players from Ray's generation give us those talking tos. Nothing's been won yet, son. I like that.
Well, that's how they were managed, weren't they?
On a quick word on the team, Ibu Konate back in. At all surprised given how long he's been out and how Jarrell handled himself the last couple of times he's been involved?
I'm never going to question Arne's slot in his decision making when it comes to team selection. He knows better than any of us. He works from every day, so he'll know how fit the big man is. But don't forget, when he was in the team, he was one of the most outstanding performers week in, week out, Konate. Virtually every game that he played when he came on as a substitute against Ipswich, got into the team the week after from the start, and from then until he came off against Real Madrid, he was absolutely brilliant. Every game, covering Trent, getting into good positions, getting back defensively with the pace that he's got. His all-round game in general, I thought, really improved. Yes, he got the injury. Joe came in. Unfortunately, Joe got injured against West Ham. Jarrell came in, done well, coming on as a substitute. He might feel a little bit hard done by that he's not starting today. But the manager makes big calls in big games, and that's why he gets paid the big money to make decisions like that. And I would trust him. Everything he's done so far has been excellent as far as his managerial career here at Liverpool. He's just come in and it's been seamless. The way he's got the squad together. You look at that bench today as well. How strong is it? I mean, I remember coming here a couple of seasons ago and you were looking at your bench and thinking, well, who have we got there to change it? There's not a lot there. Whereas now you're looking at it and go, oh, he can come on.
They could make a team, couldn't they?
He could, yeah.
They could actually make a Premier League team.
More than capable there for that to be very competitive. So, yeah, we're in a very enviable position because we've got goal scorers, match winners. We've scored, 45 goals in 18 games or there, but I think we're averaging 2.5 goals a game, every game. I think, was it 1 game this season we haven't scored, Nottingham Forest, where we lost here? But that's it. Every other game we're scoring. So that's the reason why Liverpool have always got the potential in matches to win, because they've got more than the other sides when it comes to the final third, creativity and goal scorers.
All the talk of snow today. I wasn't prepared for this.
I know.
I've got to admit. Yeah, not the best. OK, we're going to hear from the boss now. Arne Slot's thoughts on Manchester United to come shortly. First, though, with over 30 league titles having been collected by different players in the Liverpool squad in various countries during their careers, here's what he had to say on the value of having winners in the camp.
It's always important that you have players that or staff members that know how to win things. But yeah, I would be surprised if I work at a club like Liverpool. You would have told me you don't have anyone who won the league in their career, because we are here one of the best clubs in the world. So probably it's normal that there are players over here that have won many things in their career. So it is definitely helpful, but the most thing that helps us winning games is work rate and quality of the players. So of course sometimes it can help if you are used to winning big games, but yeah, that's what's quite normal if you play at this club, that you are used to playing big games.
Have you maybe seen specific moments though in tough circumstances in the first half of the season where you've noticed that kind of goes beyond leadership, but that moments where the players are taking it upon themselves to marshal through situations?
Yeah. Last half hour against Newcastle, I saw players that really stepped up, a team that really stepped up, and sometimes I think Southampton was a bit the same when we were in not the League Cup game but the other one, in a difficult position. So yeah, definitely some moments, and I can come up with probably some other games, but the one that really stands out was Newcastle. I think we had a tough first half, tough first hour, and then when Trent came in, when Dominic came in, and from the ones that stayed in the team, they found another gear, and there you could see how special they are. Yeah.
You obviously took charge of this club in different circumstances to that of Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. But can you sympathise with the pressure that he's under as a manager, also taking charge of a Premier League club for the first time?
I think every manager sympathizes with every other manager, because we all know how much pressure this job brings. That's not different for him than for me or for any other manager that works in the Premier League or somewhere else around the world. This is a job where there's a lot of pressure. This is also something we like. Otherwise, we definitely must not do this. And he's done so well at Sporting Portugal, and they have much better players, in my opinion, than maybe the league table shows at the moment. And I think it's going to take a while maybe for Ruben Amorim to bring this out of the players. I don't know, but they will definitely go up, and they are much better than the league table shows at the moment.
So, as mentioned, one change for Liverpool today, with Ibu Kanati coming in for the injured Joe Gomez. As for the visitors, Ruben Amorim has made 3 changes from the Manchester United side that lined up against Newcastle on Monday. Andre Onana continues in goal. It's the same back 3 of Matthias de Ligt, Harry Maguire and Lissandro Martinez. Emmanuel Ugarte and Kobe Manu come back into the central midfield areas for Casemiro and Christian Eriksen, with Diogo Dalot and Nusir Mazraoui continuing as wing-backs. The captain, Bruno Fernandes, is back in for Joshua Zirkzee, with Amid Diallo also supporting Rasmus Højlund up front. Yeah, we'll talk about United in detail later in the programme. To pick up on what the manager was talking about, kind of just making the point that you've been making, Jason, about the importance of experience within a group and having a little bit of know-how in there, it can go a long way.
I think Ray's best to answer that question with his dressing room. You know, they were serial winners, weren't they? But it's important just to know how to handle certain situations, not to get carried away. We use the cliche, don't we? Take each game as it comes, and that's exactly what they need to do. This is Man United. It's a semi-final in the week, but they don't want to look that far ahead. They just want to get 3 points today. You know, add that tally up back onto the points they've amassed so far, and it'll put them in good stead, wouldn't it, in the league, and then they can concentrate on a semi-final against Tottenham. So it's massively important to have winners and leaders in the team, something that I'm sure we'll talk about later, like you said, with Man United, something that they really lack, leaders. You know, if you look through the Liverpool team now, as young as Trent is, he's still a leader. Van Dijk, leader. Salah in his own way is a leader. McAllister leads by example. You know, there's lots of them in the Liverpool camp. It's great.
But it's sort of a strange situation, isn't it? The fact that, you know, I touched on earlier, United find themselves bottom half of the table. It's the first time since 1990 they've started a year in the bottom half of the league standings. Uncharted territory for them, and their manager's spoken about needing senior players to step up in these difficult times, and there's a question about whether they have enough of what we just spoke about, leadership within that group.
What I would say, though, I mean, we're asking Jason the question about, you know, what Liverpool are and the leaders. The biggest leader Liverpool have got is Arne. Your manager's got to lead you. He's the one that's got to set the template. He's the one that's got to give you the instructions about what he wants from you when you go into a football match. Game management. It's the same I would say for Amorim as the manager of Manchester United. He's got to set the tone by the players that he plays. If he thinks his players are not training well enough or not doing something right, he's got to be strong enough mentally as a manager to say, I'm not playing you. I'm going to play players I think are going to go out and give this club 100%. And I'll start from that basis. I'll start from that basic ingredient you need as a footballer. You can have as much ability as you want, but if you're not showing determination, character, willing to run around, no well we having you on the pitch, because you won't showcase your talent, because you can't be bothered to run around. So the first thing he's got to do as a manager is to get the right personnel in place and then give them that platform to go and play from. And if he does that as a manager and leads, the others will start to follow. Your older players in the team will start to take charge and get the younger players to get them into the right positions. It starts with the manager. Look how well Arne Slot's done since he came in. I knew from day one he was the manager, because I just had to look at him, listen to him. He told the Liverpool players what he was going to do, and they just fell into place and started doing what the manager wanted for them. Look how relaxed he is when he goes into press conferences. You wouldn't think there's any pressure on him at all. This is his first season. Look what he's done. Semi-final of the league.
I think there's a big
Playing
difference.
devil's advocate, though, winning games helps.
Yeah, there's a big difference between Amorim and what Slot inherited.
Yes, I don't disagree with you, but he's still coming into your team, Jason, that have a look at Manchester United's history and what they were. Now, they've been in a decline for a little while. Why is that? That's what the Manchester United fans want to know is why are we slipping down the league in the manner that we are? They're starting to question the players and the effort they're putting into the pitch. The first thing Jason will tell you, when fans aren't happy, the first thing they'll look at is he trying hard enough? And if anyone ever questioned us as players that we weren't trying hard enough, I would be very annoyed, because that's the least you can do in football. If you're not playing well and you're not showing your ability, that's one thing. But if you're not trying, or it doesn't look like you're trying, that for me is the biggest indictment as a player.
I mean, you can go right back to basics with what Ray's saying there, and it's down to the players on the pitch. Listen, you mightn't be playing well, but you can run around and you can make tackles and you can make things happen. It might not be going well with your passing and, with your efforts or whatever it is. You might not be scoring goals, but you can show an effort and the fans will respond to that. But I think, the story of Manchester United, it's just been mismanaged right through the football club. I mean, we could spend hours and hours and hours debating where we think Man United have gone wrong, but at the end of the day, each manager keeps inheriting the previous manager's bad players. I mean, Amorim looks like a fish out of water right now. Like he doesn't know what to do. Listen, he's got a style of play, but he hasn't got the players to play it. He's putting square pegs in round holes right now. And all of a sudden, they're in decline. They can't get a result. They can't score a goal. Xerxes come off. He's thrown his hands in the air. He's walked off. I mean, to make a decision against Newcastle last week, to play Eriksen and Casemiro in the middle of the park, who've got no mobility, no physicality against the Newcastle team that just overrun them, I've got to look at the manager with that and think that's not the player's fault, that's the manager's team selection. He's like a fish out of water right now.
Okay. Well, we are going to speak in depth about United a little bit later in the show. We've gone early, but it's okay. That's just got a little tease for everyone watching on social media of what's more to come in the rest of the programme. Because it is the big story in many ways today isn't what Liverpool are doing. It's where United are at, given the results and given the fact they've changed their manager. So we'll dig into that a bit later in the show. Okay, there is less than an hour to go until kick-off now here at Anfield, and we'll bring you live audio commentary of all the action. Our man Steve Hunter is in position on the main stand gantry now, and if you are feeling a little lethargic after overdoing it over the Christmas period, well, Steve's enthusiasm will certainly shake you out of that. Happy New Year, Steve.
I've got to follow that, eh? What a legend Mr. Benstead is, eh? Big asset to the channel, in my humble opinion. Happy New Year, everybody. It's great to be back, isn't it, at the Anfield. A very wintry setting, I have to say. Behind the Kop, it looks like a beautiful, either a Christmas card or a postcard. It's a very wintry scene, all the snow on all the roofs. You have to say, big well done to the staff here at Liverpool as well, or the staff behind the scenes. They've made the pitch look as if there's been hardly any snow. Bit treacherous to walk from the car park, but it wasn't too bad. At least we're here. We want this game on, didn't we? Because we don't want to have all these games in hand with our hectic schedule. We're in all competitions, FA Cup next weekend, Carabao Cup semi-final in midweek. But obviously with this one here today, Liverpool, Manchester United, it is the big one. No matter what Manchester City fans will say, this is always one of the big rivalries, along with Everton, for us as Liverpool supporters. And indeed, we've lost just one of our last 13 Premier League games against United, winning 7, drawing 5. Don't forget there's been 3 goalless draws here, when I think the word today is being clinical, isn't it? We went clinical last year, and that's why it ended 0-0. But some standout games, undoubtedly March 2023. That 7-0 win was unbelievable. It could have been a lot more than 7, couldn't it, really? But you have to say, the one that stands out above all in all, January 2020, winning 2-0. Virgil van Dijk gets the second. Then in stoppage time, Alisson's clearance into Mo Salah. Wild celebrations. The Kop singing we're going to win the league. What a moment. Hopefully more great moments to come. Mark, the legend, it's back to you.
See, I told you that I'd wake you up.
Legend.
That's it. That's what Steve is as well. But he likes doing that enthusiasm. If you're a bit weary, a bit tired, you've had a difficult day getting through the weather, that'll sort you out. Bit of Steve in you for 2025, so to speak. Okay, time to say goodbye to our social viewers. Info on how to become an LFC TV subscriber is online. If you aren't yet with us, it's liverpoolfc.com/watch. You find the details there, how to sign up. If you are staying with us on LFC TV, then after the break, we've got plenty for you, including interviews with Mohamed Salah and Alexis McAllister. Then our live audio commentary is on the way from 4:30, where Steve is joined, as he so often is, by John Aldrich. Then we'll be back down pitch side at 6:30 for the post-match reaction to analyse what we've seen here today. Then tonight, the reaction podcast. Well, that will come in time as well, which will bring you some of that reaction show. And at midnight tonight, it's the full match replay as well. At midnight Monday, Inside Anfield will drop as well, bringing you the best behind-the-scenes coverage of all that happens here today between Liverpool and Manchester United. For those of you who are staying with us, then after the break we will come back and focus in detail on today's opponents. United find themselves in a sticky spell. They've lost their last 4 matches in all competitions and haven't won here since January 2016. That was under Louis van Gaal 5 managers ago. How will the new man approach today? We're back soon.